Alright guys, it's my first time going to Bicolline, and if you don't know what Bicolline is, it is the biggest LARP in North America, in Montreal, Canada. My partner Kiki went last year, and I get to accompany them this year, so I'm quite excited about that. But packing has been hell for this. It's like a week in the forest, and there's so many options, so many things I want to bring, and so many things I'm worried about forgetting that I wanted to help you guys out. I've spent the last 4 days stressing out about all of this, and so let my stress be your teacher. I'm gonna go over the things that I'm bringing and show them to you one by one, and then hopefully it will help you with your kit and your adventure. Let's get started. First off, clothes here. So I've got a big duffel roller bag, and 10/10 recommend because I can jam pack so much into that. Okay, first off, lovely pair of LARP pants. Little ties at the bottom, and I brought about 4 different pairs of pants. Let me count that, hold on. 5 pairs of pants and 2 pairs of shorts. I think when you're out there, it's good to have a nice breathable fabric because it's gonna be hot. The temperature fluctuation, from what Kiki told me, goes anywhere from 50-ish degrees at night up to around 80, 90 degrees during the day. And the humidity, so that's gonna be the death of me. Humidity gets pretty high. It also rains 2 to 3 times on average each Bicolline, it seems like. So I've got some nice linen long pants. For this pair of pants, some nice piratey pants. I've got some cool boots that these will tuck into. These are from Rebecca. She's amazing, makes corsets. We'll put her at right here. And then a pair of piratey medieval Viking pants. These are really wide, as you can see, and then they strap tight around you. These are from Epic Armory, super useful and comfortable, I will say. Next, I've got some actually thrifted just dress pants, and these tuck in super nice into basically my boots or anything that I'm trying to do. Sometimes I use leg wraps around them, but it's like got this nice hint of a Scottish vibe with the plaid on there. Planning your next LARP adventure? Les Artisans d'Azur has everything you need to bring your next character to life. From handcrafted leather to unique accessories, they've got everything you need for your next battle, feast, or fireside hangout, and it will last you through the years. So no matter if you're a bard or a warrior or just a lover of medieval fantasy, you will find whatever fits your style at their website. And just for you guys, you can use code larping.org at checkout to get 10% off your next order. Don't sleep on it, and I'll see you on the battlefield. On to the shirts. So the shirts, I think, are one of the most important parts for having a good fit and good garb all come together. So I have a nice Viking tank top. I have this in white and in black because you know it's gonna be hot as hell, and I'm gonna want as little fabric on my body as possible. This will be very nice for that. Here's the white one, like I said. Kiki got me this shirt from an Etsy store. Really nice Renaissance shirt, somewhat baggy sleeves. This is one of my favorite shirts. So I have 3 white shirts and then 1 black one. Here is the one that I wear the most often. I got this shirt from Pibbs Exchange. It's like a local thrift store, consignment store here in Salt Lake City. An awesome pirate shirt. I love the dangles and the sleeves on here. Works as an epic underlayer. And then this is where we get a little fancy, the sleigh. When you layer this right, it's insane. It's kind of giving Asterion from Baldur's Gate, but with the right layers, this can make an epic fit. As you can tell, I have a decent amount of garb, and that's what happens when you have the partner that I have. You've got to rise to their level, you know? And Kiki has a whole room's worth of garb that they've collected over the years, and she has so much and goes out so much and does these things that I had to, you know, join her and at least try to present. Next up, this is one of my favorite pieces. This is from Castoral Royale. This is a really cool doublet. I love, it's got these shoulders that stick out on the sides. If you've seen me in any Renaissance environments, I was probably wearing this. So, like I said, one of my favorites. And next I've got a vest here, and this is the vest that I wear underneath that doublet. It's got this fun gold embroidery all throughout it. It really just gives nobility. All right, and then here is my black medieval shirt. Guys, let me just zoom out here. I'm sorry I didn't do that from the start. This one did come off of Amazon, and I hate Amazon, but sometimes when you're in a pinch and you have no local options, you gotta do what you gotta do. Next up, I got these two tunics from Etsy. I cannot remember their shop. They are a little expensive. I think they're about $160 for each one. I bought one year, and then the next year I bought another. So now I have two. I've got this one, which was a cream. I tried to dye it. Now it's some weird lavender gray, which I have minor grief about, but Kiki likes it, so that's all that matters. And then I've got the same thing in a brown color here. Bags. Bags are important. You know, you're gonna be on an adventure. You need to carry sunscreen, you gotta carry water, you gotta carry miscellaneous items, your trinkets that you're trading with, all of the above. But I thrifted this bag, just goes over the shoulder, and I love it. It fits the vibe. We're gonna go into bags a little bit more once I get to my other suitcase. And then here we are, another shirt here. So as you can tell, I want options. Thrifted this as well, and then I chopped it and just left part of it dangling out. So it gives for a really messy pirate or just an undone, questionable individual. And if anybody knows me, you know that I'm sometimes a little questionable in the best way possible. Next up here, I have this awesome cape that I got off of, I can't remember where, but it's a shoulder cape, and shoulder capes just scream attention, power, confidence. So yeah, this just drapes over like this, and then these straps go across. Looks really cool when you pair it with some armor. Speaking of armor, obviously there's a lot of battles out there, and the more armor you have, depending on the type, the more hit points you have. Nothing is just, you know, you get hit in the arm's gone. So here is some pauldrons that I got off of Etsy. The shop that makes this is in Poland, I believe, and he is amazing. Handle is Fawn Forge. The detail and beauty of these things is quite immaculate. So with this, we've got the pauldrons, and then we've got these bracers. I love these bracers because it has these little pouches on the top here, which are perfect for little trinkets. Like, for example, let's see what we got in here right now. Oh, look at that. A potion. I gift this to you. You're now required to mope around for 5 minutes asking where you are. And then here's the belt that goes with the pauldrons and the bracers. I love this belt. You can really latch a lot of things on there. This is my cup holder, so I can just latch my cup onto my belt. And it carries a decent amount of weight, and I think that a wide belt too like this really makes a piece of garb stand out. And then here is my other bag that I got that matches, I just found this at Comic-Con actually, and it matches my all of my armor right there perfectly. It opens up nice and big. This is fun. So somebody gave this to me at my last LARP, which was my first one, and it's a little card, and it just says, "You've been drugged. Everyone is now your long-lost cousin. Effects last for 5 minutes." So things like this make your adventure very fun. Next up is another belt that I got from Arm Street. I love Arm Street. I believe they're a shop in Ukraine, and they have so much cool stuff. So this is a brown leather belt that actually has these gold medallions on them, and they definitely can poke you. So that's my one gripe, but I do love them. So shoes. Shoes are important. Kiki told me that you will end up walking, you know, probably 5 miles a day on average, just because the whole thing is so spaced out. It was 5 miles minimum. I can't remember exactly what it was. So you need shoes that will not blister on you, and preferably a couple of different shoes. So I'm bringing 3 different pairs of shoes in case one gets wet, and in case I start to get blisters from one, or in case a pair breaks. So I have a pair of just normal Iron Ranger Red Wings. They're just a really nice kind of utility boot that I've had for like 7 years. So they are beat to hell. They will be my everyday kind of battle run and gun shoes. And then I have these boots. These are my favorite boots. I got these from Arm Street. I can't remember what they are called, but they are amazing quality. And I actually use these when I fight, when I do rapier. So I'm doing a lot of jumping up and down, back and forth, and they have so far, over the past month and a half, held up extremely well. So I'm excited to test these out. They also look insane. They go up to just below the knee, and obviously that's what every Ren Fair Fit needs is a good tall pair of boots. We just talked about the importance of shoes. What's even more important than shoes? Socks. So I brought 9 pairs of socks. It's a 7-day event, and that's just in case a pair gets wet or dirty. Your tent is gonna have an open floor on it, so there's dirt basically underneath your feet at all times. So I felt like having an extra pair of socks will be really good. And then for the battle, I learned my lesson the hard way at Heinefall, my first LARP last year. Wear gloves when you are in battle. I, no joke, had busted my knuckles 3 or 4 times and was bleeding on both hands. So gloves, important. Underwear, obviously, 1 for each day or more preferably. I have Band-Aids, I have sunscreen, and I have trash bags for in the tent, and then batteries for our lantern that we will be carrying around at night. I also have tissues, along with all of my other toiletry items, toothbrush, toothpaste, anything you need for your hair, a body wash. From what I understand, there is showers there, but they're sometimes a pain in the butt, and there's a long line for them a lot of the time, so they also cost money. Generally, it sounds like almost every day it's so hot and humid that everybody just runs to the river at some point, and you can just rub yourself down. Just don't use any soap in the river. Moving on, speaking of bathing, you need to have a towel. You kind of want one that's a little decorum, you know, that matches the vibe. You don't want a bright beach towel out there. Nice earthy tones. And then I also have a gambeson. Did you guys hear that? Kiki has put a packing list together already, and we're gonna include that at the end of the video. What is it, just the...
It's a Google Doc, and I've updated it for the past year.
God tier.
It should be pretty good. So
now you have even more help. So back to this. This is a gambeson that I love to wear on top of one of those medieval shirts that I showed you earlier with the billowy sleeves, and then put this belt that I showed you also earlier around the waist. It looks so good, simple and solid. It is a little thick, so this is something that I think I'll be wearing more in the nighttime once it cools off. So as you go throughout your adventure, you're going to be drinking from tavern to tavern pretty much the whole time, whether it be water, mead, wine, alcohol, whatever you want it to be. So you need to bring a cup. So this is a stainless steel lined cup. So the nice part about this is I can do hot or cold beverages in this. I believe with pewter and certain other, like a horn mug or anything like that, you can't do hot liquids inside of that. So one thing to keep in mind for when you are choosing your mug. Getting into our sword case now. So I have a hard case that's actually for transporting golf clubs, and that's what most people use for their LARP weapons and swords. So we have one of those, and inside of that, here is my other pair of high-knee boots. These ones have been through a lot. These went through my first LARP. I have lost a button, so there's a safety pin holding that together, but they are comfortable and they are tried and true. For the battles, I have an arm shield here, which is quite awesome. So you can kind of have your sword back here, deflect, stab, all that good stuff. Then we have, this is the lantern that I was talking about earlier. Definitely recommend getting one of these. They are quite fun. Yeah, there we go. So you've got options. So you've just got white, and then you've got a fire. Nice flicker. So I did break this one during my first demon slay of the night in Heinefall. So the metal bracket broke. So it kind of looks even cooler though with the rope. But I believe we got this off Amazon, sadly. It was about 20 bucks. 10/10 recommend. We actually last year just mostly used this inside of our tent, which it was a little dim, and because of that we do have an upgrade, which I will show you quickly before we get back to the sword case. So I got this at REI, and what this is a solar powered string light system, and it is very cool. It just drops down like that, and then you can see all of these bulbs. They're shatterproof bulbs inside of there, and it's 40 feet. Kiki and I charged this up and tested it yesterday, and it legitimately is pretty dang bright. So we should be able to loop this a couple of times at least. Let's get back to the sword case. So because I do SCA rapier, I do have some armor. So here I have a couple of gorgets that I'm going to bring, mostly because I have one piece of armor that I'll show you right after this that it looks epic, but it just needs something more around the neck. So this piece is what I use for sword fighting, and it's hard foam and it looks really cool. I do wish it was silver, but black will have to do for this because I'm not gonna paint it. Speaking of wishing that it was silver, I also have this one, and this just goes around the neck the same way. Really, when it comes to armor, you get to choose your involvement. You can battle no matter what. I would recommend sometimes taking precautions with gloves and then potentially eye protection. My first LARP last year, arrow was shot at the guy basically in front of me to the right, and he deflected it with the shield, but it hit it at an angle to where it just went straight past me as I was looking this way, and the fletching, no joke, hit the side of my eye, and it hurt really bad and scared me. So from that point on, I just had some nice clear work glasses that I wore. I really only wore those when there was arrows flying, but your eyes are important, your hands are important. Take the proper precautions. So back to the sword case. I have a fur mantle that goes over the shoulders. I got this off of Etsy and I love it. It's kind of giving like Jon Snow. And then this is a big piece of armor that I was talking about that those neck gorgets will go with really well. I love this thing. It is basically a big old tabard, but it's all leather. Very big, very heavy duty, also pretty hot, but it has cool shoulder pieces. So I don't know how often I'm going to wear it, but a minimum of once for at least one battle. Water skin. You need to bring some sort of water carrying device, because when you are out on the field half a mile or more doing battle, it is so hot and it's so easy to get dehydrated. So this was my answer. It's just an over-the-shoulder little water skin, and it actually holds a decent amount of water. I see a lot of other people that some of them will sneak a camel pack. Like I said, it has to be decorum, so can't have that showing. And then other people will just have something similar or a decorum water bottle on their side that they carry. On to the good stuff. Weapons. Each one of the weapons that you bring will have to pass homologation, meaning that they're going to be checked by the weapon marshals to make sure that they are not going to hurt anybody, and you're not allowed to fight with them until you get their little band, which is their stamp of approval on there. So this is the Witcher 3 sword, I believe, from Kalamazoo, and the scabbard that they also make, which I love. It is a little bit of a pretty penny, but I painted this gold. I haven't played any of the Witcher games, but I love the aesthetic of it. So I painted this gold so it matches my armor a little bit better. And then for this year, since I've been practicing a lot with the rapier, I thought it'd be fun to bring a LARP rapier. Obviously, this is primarily a thrusting weapon, but out there I will be using it for cut and thrust. So I'm excited to give this a go. And the cool part too is that it also fits inside of this scabbard for my Witcher 3 sword, which I love. So this is a cool little hip dagger. I think it looks sick. I got this from Epic Armory. Probably the coolest looking one in my opinion that they have on there. And then this is the scabbard. So that just goes on the side of your hip right there. And then you can fight double. Boom. La-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-doo. And last thing that I have is just my carry-on backpack, which is going to have my headphones for the blight. I've got some tissues in there, and then I also have some charging bricks, which I think will be very useful. I mean, I'm not planning on using my phone while I'm out there. However, I do want to stay in contact with the world in case an emergency happens. So I brought a couple of these charging bricks just to keep my phone charged up. Accessories. Accessories will make everything better. All of those small little details will take a very basic, cheap fit and make it look epic. You have one belt, put on a second belt, sometimes a third belt, carry around a pipe. I have a piece of rope in here that I, no joke, just sometimes tie around my forearm, tie it across my body. We have a bunch of little pins that Kiki made you can put on garb. And then one thing that we are also bringing that we haven't packed yet is some face makeup. Just sometimes you want to blacken your eyes or put some cuts or bruises on yourself, along with jewelry and bracelets, you know, earrings, necklaces. Pile all of those things on and it will take you to another level. I am bringing my pipe. I did get a little fun something to enjoy while I'm out there. I got a cigar. I don't smoke cigars. I've smoked them like twice in my life. I honestly don't love them, but I know that Bicolline is one hell of a party from what Kiki was saying. So I thought it would be fun to pull this out and enjoy that alongside a little bit of bourbon, perhaps. Once Kiki and I get there, we are going to make a quick pit stop at the grocery store and just get some small things like some coffee, creamer, and some food just to snack on that doesn't need to be refrigerated. Kiki and I did bring some instant coffee, so that way we can just put a little bit of water in our cup and a whisk, and then whisk that up in the morning without having to worry about heating water up on a fire. They do have food options there. A lot of people will bring their own food throughout the whole week, which obviously you need ice. And ice is one of the few things that you can buy there from what I understand. But you can also buy your food. And so we will be going with the Voyage North. Through them, you get breakfast and dinner provided, which is huge. The portions are amazing from what Kiki's telling me, and the food is amazing. So generally those 2 meals a day are more than enough, but hence why we are bringing the snacks too, just in case we want a little something in between for lunch. A couple more things that I think you'll need. Bug spray, this will obviously be on Kiki's list. If you are in the United States and you are going to Canada, you will need a passport. Okay, so I am bringing this little folding chair. This is not decorum, so it will stay inside of my tent. And I think it'll be nice just to have a little something to lounge upon. And if I did want to bring it out, we do have a tapestry blanket that we can just drape over it, and then voila, it is decorum. Music. There's really a spot for everybody out there, no matter what you're into. And so for me, I play the guitar, and I thought it would be fun for me to bring my guitar out there, and then I will be able to help take those late night parties and adventures up to the next level. Very excited about that. Because I'm bringing this, I have a humidity pack to dehumidify because it's super humid up there, and then a strap and a guitar tuner, obviously. And then Kiki, for our recent anniversary, got me this super fun drumstick. And I'm still learning how to play it. It's very simple. Very excited. This thing will look epic with any one of my pieces of garb. So I'm quite excited, and I just love how small it is. It's really easy to just throw it on your back and forget that it's there. So thank you, Kiki. I do love you. I think that just about concludes everything. Thanks to Kiki. Their previous attendance to this event has made my packing much easier, though it still was decently stressful. So I hope that this helped you and that you had some fun along the way. I am looking forward to maybe getting into this space a little bit more and making more fantasy medieval content instead of just my art content. For those that don't know, I am an artist, a pen artist, and that is my full-time job. I travel around the United States selling my art and bringing it to a city near you. So if you ever want to check that out, you can hop onto my Instagram and see my work there, and in the future, a lot more fantasy stuff. So enjoy Bicolline and have an amazing LARP. Peace out, guys.